Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, hi there. And so I didn't see any service on Ms. O'Hara either. And this case has been around for a while, coming up on, it was filed like 6 weeks ago. And so
Okay. Can I explain a couple of things?
ma'am, this can't go on. I may have said before, this can't go on forever. It's been reset several times, but go ahead. You were going to say something.
Well, number one, the very first time it was issued, the judge or whoever it was said that he was going to have the police department server, but he did not put it on the original paperwork. So that can't be, held against me. On the second, they sent it to the wrong place. They sent it to the sheriff and it should have gone to Tacoma. And then a Detective Bordell in Tacoma called me, or I talked to Detective Bordell on this, and he wasn't able to find it. So I called the civil department, and they told me just this morning that on 1/29, which was our last court date, that they actually emailed the service packet at 1:26 p.m. to Tacoma PD.
Right.
So it looks like the police department is kind of running the whole thing in a circle. And that's kind of not fair, because she has since harassed me 2 more times.
All right. Well, we can try. And again, I see on the 29th, it was sent to Tacoma for service.
Yes, sir.
And so we do that again. Do you want to make efforts to serve this yourself?
Well, if they don't get it done, I can try to have somebody else. I'm not going near the girl.
No, you can hire. There are people who serve papers privately. They have a private process server. You can hire someone to do it.
I know. I'm on disability, Your Honor, and I don't have the extra to be able to pay for that. I just want to be able to live in my house free.
All right. I remember that there's been some issues, but we can try it again. We can reissue the temporary and send it to Tacoma, and then you can follow up with them and see where we're at in 2 weeks.
That would be wonderful, because then I can talk to the detective again.
So that reissues the temporary, and again we'll send it to the Tacoma Police Department.
Okay, at 10 a.m.
No, 9. If I said 10, that was a mistake. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's what kind of confused me. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Welcome. You're free to leave for today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Activate your camera, please.
Yes, sir. Wait a second. Hello.
There you are. Hi there.
So
I don't see Mr. Thompson here. You did get him served.
Yeah, he was in custody from what I understand.
Okay. Is he still,
So I check every day. I haven't checked this morning, but as of last night, he was still in Thurston County Jail.
All right.
Do you want me to check again really quick?
We can do that.
Okay, hang on. Can you get me my phone? Oh, yeah. He should be in Thurston. I check the Thurston County Jail roster every day.
Okay, thanks. Hang on just a second. Is he in there as a result of what happened with you folks or something else?
Yes, as a result of what happened with us.
All right.
He's still in there.
Yeah.
He was served though, wasn't he? Because I assumed
yes, he
it
was. Nope, there's service. I was just looking at something else. I'm going to enter a default in your favor. The order will be a temporary was granted. Basically, an order is going to be entered that mirrors the temporary, and it'll be in place for 1 year.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a copy at the court office?
Yeah, what you can, yes, or you can get it online. If you can you can get online and get it remotely if you want, or you can come by here and get it. Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
You folks still live in the same, well, at the moment anyway, you still live in the same establishment there?
Yeah, we've lived here for a couple years.
How long has he lived there?
About 3 or 4 months, I think. I don't know. I don't know him. Like, we never have been friends or anything.
Or talked.
Talked, really.
I can't remember. Looks like I did the temporary. And he lives more than 1,000 feet away from you?
I'm trying to think. I think it is more than I don't know. So there's our units and then there's like a shed and then there's his unit. So it's close. I don't know. It's
And I
hard for me
wrote
to
on here that this order does not exclude respondent from his own residence, and I'm going to do the same on this case, on this order.
so he could come back. I would
He can live
strongly
there, ma'am. I can't enter an order that excludes him from his own home. I can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he can live there. Sometimes I have people, even later on the calendar here, we've got people who live right next to each other. And so I can enter anti-harassment orders, but I can't do a distance restriction that prevents someone from going to his home, his own place, whether he rents it or lives there or what have you.
Okay.
And I think, and I don't know whether that was you or the other petitioner who was here. Or actually, no, that was Commissioner Wool under the temporary order. That wasn't me. And
Okay.
he may or probably would have had a conversation with you about that.
No, so the issue was ordered. When I got it last time, it was automatic. I didn't even have to go in the courtroom. I just filled out the papers, and then before I was about to go into court, they just gave it to me.
Well, it's going to be the same. It'll be in place for 1 year. He's not to contact you. He's not to cause you any harm. He's not to contact you, not engage in stalking behavior. Don't come within 1,000 feet of you, your residence, or your workplace. And again, I wrote on here, he can go to his own residence. And as I said before, it'll exist for 1 year. Service isn't required because he was served, didn't appear, and things haven't changed from the temporary order.
Okay, I understand.
Yep. So I reviewed, you'd filed a response in here. And at one point you said you were served late, which is true, and all of that. But then you filed some stuff too, which I've looked at. And then my question is, you know, if you want more time, you can have it. And so when people complain about service of late service, which I get, and sometimes they'll ask more time to respond. And so I'm going to give you that opportunity if you want that. Otherwise, we'll just proceed with the hearing now.
Your Honor, I don't need it. I have nothing to present. I posted the signs.
Hang on. So Mr. Stinton's here, and then
and my wife's here too, Your Honor.
Okay, you're the petitioner, and so yeah, Amber Stinton is also, and then I'll swear you in. I'll hear from you, and I'll hear from Amber Stinton also. Amber Lee Stinton, if she wishes to testify. I'll hear from Mr. McKenna, and then we'll go from there. Mr. McKenna did file some things. Did you get a chance to look at that?
Nope. We had to certify by mail because we had several people go over there.
Okay, so I just asked if my question was only if you saw the things.
No, I have not.
Okay, well, I'll hear from you, and then I'll hear from and Ms. Stinton. Then I'll hear from Mr. McKenna. How is it you need an order against Mr. McKenna?
First of all, I tried to get off registration, so he caught wind of that. This was a case that happened 23 years ago, and it was against his wife. She was underage, and some consensual stuff happened. There was no rape. There was no molestation. So then he went around and posted signs all around my neighborhood saying I was a molester, put my address on there, all my information, kept doing it. I finally caught him, got pictures of him, caught him up on the pole, was on dispatch. My wife was on the phone with 911 at the time that we had met him. And he was sitting up there and posting signs and said he wasn't going to stop. He was threatening toward me, gestures. His dog got out of the truck. I got pictures of his truck, his car, him, all this stuff. And it took me a while to catch him, but I have 13 signs which have razor blades on them. And I have pictures and police reports. They've come over here 5 times. And I don't understand why he's doing that. I know his wife is the victim in this case, but I just don't understand why he would come after me. I never contacted her, never even seen her for 23 years. So for him to come out here and maliciously do that, it's pretty bad. Razor blades almost cut my wife's hand. I mean, that's pretty bad.
And then Ms. Stanton, is there anything you wish to say at this time? You can put your hand down and
Okay,
then go ahead.
So I'm just Mr. McKenna. I don't understand why he's doing this, but I am fearful that if he feels the need to take law into his own hands, that where is the stopping point? This is 23 years. We've never contacted him or his family. Have no desire, no need. This is the home that my children come home to. My son comes home to boot camp to. My granddaughter is there. I'm concerned that people will see these signs and want to take the law into their own hands and hurt my home and threaten my safety by his actions. And I don't understand why he just doesn't need to be in our area. He has no business there but to harass us in my home.
All right. What's your response to their request for an order?
I posted some signs. I was basically, I mean, my intent was, I've known about what he did to my wife when she was 13 and he was 24 for a long time and never cared until we got a letter. And that's what the information I posted was the emails. Donald Cease is the guy that gave my wife and the other victims the opportunity to contest getting his record sealed.
Right.
And it brought up a lot of trauma. All of the victims had met and talked, and they're doing a series of therapy now because of it. And we were just kind of fearful that he was going to get his record sealed. So I had some signs made and posted them just so people would know it was public information posted right on our registry site.
Yeah, Thurston County already.
I posted signs.
Okay, so just one, don't interrupt, please.
And so I just took those signs, posted them, and I never attached razor blades. I was looking at the paperwork that I gotten in here. He gives some detail of it and specific dates and says on November 18th, the day that they approached me, almost caused an accident swerving through the intersection to come at me. And I said I had nothing to say. And she filmed the entire thing, which I'm curious why they didn't submit that as evidence, because they filmed the entire thing. I tried to get to my truck and away from him because I wanted no altercation. I just wanted to post public information for public safety.
Wow.
But it says that they found the sign after I left, that they took the sign off the pole and then one out of the grass. They called the cops, talked with the cops. When they took those signs, I left. And then go on to say later on the 25th,
I'll be with
that
you.
she took the signs out of her,
I'm listening.
that she took those signs out of her car. And that's when she noticed there were razor blades on the edges. And so I'm not sure how the officers on the 18th didn't see the razor blades, or how she didn't notice razor blades in her car for 8 days driving around with it. I never attached razor blades to it. I stapled it to a pole was all I did. So it's contradictory, and it's in writing, and it's signed and sworn by him on this paperwork.
All right.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it's the facts are right there. So
where do you live?
I live in Centralia, but my brother lives, I don't know, I could look it up on a map.
I
About
mean, do you know
4 streets down.
where does
from-
Mr. Stinton live? Just in the city. I'm not looking for an address. So miles from you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but my brother that works for me that I pick up every morning lives about a quarter of a mile, and I drive down Highway 99 right past his house every day.
When did you learn this?
Learn what?
Where he lived and drive by him and all of that?
Oh, when we got the letter in January, and that's what that email was from Donald Cease that I put in there.
But I mean, okay.
Because we were told, my wife being the victim.
Yeah, no,
she was told
I understand that.
where
I
her
guess,
attacker lived.
yeah, and that's my understanding is that's fairly typical. People register for a period of time. They comply with certain conditions. They can ask to be relieved of that obligation, which apparently happened. When that happens, other people involved in the case get notice of that, which they're entitled to. And I guess I'm having trouble understanding the value of, it just seems to me, and your wife has the opportunity to be heard and make her voice known to the people who are making that decision. Certainly she has that right and opportunity. and she should take advantage of that however she sees fit. I guess I'm just having trouble seeing the value of, after all this time running around putting those signs up.
Your Honor, may I say something?
No.
Okay.
I guess just being a father of 3 young kids and seeing what it did to my wife, I just wanted to post public information.
No.
I didn't intend to hurt him in any way. I just wanted to make aware. And the request to get his record sealed did get denied.
Okay,
And
and
so
I don't, that's not in front of me here right now. The only thing that the only thing that's in front of me is this, whether or not an order should be granted or not. But it just strikes me that you doing this is almost kind of like trying to put out a fire with gasoline, if you know what I mean. Let's take a terrible, and again, 23 years, but you know what? Trauma lasts. It does there, Mr. And I don't know anything about that other than what's been told to me here in court, you know, but trauma can last that long. It can. I know that just from my experience on this job. And, and like I say, stirring this all up again, I think there's a chance of basically bringing all that back up again. Mr. Stanton, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Your Honor, he's making this case out to be something it's not. If you, I tried to get him a copy of this case. His wife was not.
No, I don't want to. We're not litigating that case.
Okay.
That was 23 years ago. The only
Okay.
thing in front of me here right now is whether or not an order should be entered.
The police were, the cop came over and saw the razor blades on the sign, took pictures of them. That's what we submitted to you guys. So that's a major deal. I don't understand why he's trying to justify that. And it didn't sit in my wife's car for that long. We pulled him down every single time we put him up. Because the community is telling me around here that he's doing it. Not to mention I went out and bought cameras.
So, anything further?
The last sign I posted was on the 18th, and like I said, he said they had the cops there, and I don't understand how the last sign I posted, cops were present. They would have noticed razor blades on it, and he just
They did.
lied. And he said on the 18th they took them, and then she took them out of her car on the 25th. That was 7 days after, so they sat in her car for that long.
No, they didn't.
It's in the paper.
Your Honor, I own this house outright. I just don't want him around me anymore. I don't know why he's going out of his way to do this.
Well, I don't know either, but
I did destroy the rest of the signs.
Okay.
I had 4 more.
Yeah, my sister's involved too, just to let you know, Your Honor. I'm already pursuing that with an attorney.
so here's the thing there, Mr. Stanton, you know, and I think we had this conversation there, and when you were in front of me when the temporary order was entered. You know, these anti-harassment petitions is whether some people call them orders of protection or no contact orders, and they're designed to keep people away from you know, some people just won't leave other people alone for a variety of reasons. They need to come to court and say, look, I need you to keep this guy away from me, or more woman, this person away from me, or calling me at all hours, you know, come showing up at my door, following me around, stalking me, and all of that. And that's really not what's happening here. You know, we can sit around and, you know, Mr. McKenna does have some free speech if he's opportunity. And so then the issue is this constitutionally protected what he's doing? Because he's not contacting you, he's not calling you, he's not showing up at your door, he's doing something you don't like, which I understand. He's doing something which in my view wouldn't seem to be all that helpful for the recovery of his wife, but I'm not an expert in that regard just because it dredges up all these things again from so many years ago. But it is good that she's getting therapy and counseling for that, which is a long way of saying, based on what's been presented, you know, I can't really find that and I hear what you say about the razor blades. I can't really not going to make a finding on that one way or the other. Even if that's so, it's not necessarily, that might be, I mean, he's not throwing razor blades at you. Even if that's the case, I mean, if that's a pretty big stretch. So at this point, and again, the request for an order are going to be denied, because I don't think it's, we can sit around and debate all day long about it, whether it's appropriate, whether it's not. And I know there's people are watching. Some people might think it is. Some people think, no, he's way out of line. But it's not. It's based on the definition of harassment within the statute, it doesn't fit that. So the order is going to be denied. I heard him say that all the signs have been destroyed. Hope that's the case, and hope that we can go forward here where you won't have to put up with this anymore. But that's what I'm going to do here for today. Ms. Stenton,
Okay,
Mr.
I will seek counsel, Your Honor, and I will go after him in a different way.
Okay, you can.
There's RCW numbers.
The only thing in front of me here right now is what I'm doing, and that's what I'm done here for today. And you're
Okay,
free to
no
speak to
problem.
an attorney about that, of course.
No problem. I got deep pockets, so I'll get them.
You both can, I don't, again, I'll set the same set of questions. I was struck by your last comment. I'll get him. And
He doesn't need to come out.
just let me talk for a second here I think you both need to kind of look at yourself and think, okay, is this going to make things better, or is this going to make things worse? And, you might want to have that internal conversation yourself, Mr. Stenton.
Well,
Try to
my
get that
name.
around with Mr. McKenna. And again, I'm not looking for a response there, but again, you all have a choice to make here. You can kind of just move beyond this and leave each other alone, or you can continue to make efforts to use your words. I'm going to get him. I'm not sure that, and again, you can do what you want. I'm not making any orders going forward. The only thing I have to do is denying one, but I think people need to take a look at themselves and figure out where they're going from here. But for that, and you can take that for what it's worth. And that's it for today. It'll be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. Do you folks work together? Is my first question.
Yes.
We
Okay.
did. I got fired on
Okay,
that.
so Mr. Greenwood, I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak when the time comes. Right now, I'm talking to Ms. Addy, and then I'll give you an opportunity to speak, but I can only speak to one person at a time. So Ms. Addy, I'll hear from you on, I did review, you filed some things, including a fair amount of screenshots of text conversations, a lot of which aren't with you, but I'll hear from you on why you need an order against Mr. Greenwood.
This situation has been going on for almost a year now, and my job has consistently failed to protect my rights with it. They just now are finally starting to look into it more once they found out that I was taking legal action. But the harassment hasn't stopped. Even if it's not directed at me now, he still thinks that there's an opportunity for a relationship, even though I've made it clear that there's not and there never will be. I was deeply concerned with some of the messages that he had sent to my friends regarding me. And I kind of just felt like I was at a point where I didn't know what else to do.
Well, give me tell me what's been happening. How is he? I saw the emails between him and somebody else. I want to know about your experience.
About a year ago, he tried to ask me out on a date, and I kindly denied him. And then I thought, maybe that would be it. It would be a little awkward, but whatever. But then he tried to offer me money, saying that he wanted to help me with my situation. And I was like, no, I don't accept money from people. That's really weird to me. And that was around the time that I made the first report. And then after that, he just never stopped. He would keep trying to talk to me all the time, even though management told him to kind of stay away from me. And then he would go to my friends asking if he should talk to me, even though he was made clear that he should not talk to me. I've made 3 ethics reports about it over the last year, and they moved him departments, but he never really stopped. He would stare at me when I was at work. I was becoming really uncomfortable. It was making the work environment hostile. I'm very uncomfortable with everything that's happened, and I don't know why it's gone on this long because I said no.
All right. Let me hear from Mr. Greenwood. You can put your hand down. What's your response to what we just heard from Ms. Addy there? Am I saying your name correctly, by the way, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Greenwood, go ahead. You wanted to say something and you were starting about your work and then I stopped you, but now's your opportunity to let me know what your position is.
Well, work, I applied for a transfer twice to get away from her. The second time was the 26th to move to a different store. So I wouldn't have been coworkers anymore. But then on the 9th, the third complaint went through and I got fired. So we're not coworkers at all anymore. But responding to what she said, after the first complaint, I think it ended on June. The next, however many months, I guess actually never at all, did I approach her romantically or ask her out or say anything sexual or flirtatious. I did, there was a second report later I got when I asked her why she filed a second report. Because earlier she had gone around telling all of her friends that she filed another report and they went up to me to tell me about it. And I don't know what was supposed to be in it, but I had 3 different people giving me these anecdotes about their friends who had their lives ruined because of false rape claims. Everyone was telling me I needed to file a report against her for filing frivolous reports, which I didn't end up doing. Even her friends were telling me that. So after that second report, I just completely ignored her and stayed like in dispensary room, a little corner of the store. And she would sometimes come back there and chat with people and hang out. And so I just sort of stood in the corner playing on my phone just to get away from her until a friend of mine saw this. And so he said, you know, I know after the first report, you aren't allowed to transfer, but you can just go to management and ask for exception. So I did. I told them I wanted to change stores. They said, we can talk to other stores, but we have an opening in Delhi here. We know you have a good work ethic. We'll give you a 10% raise if you move there. And so I said, fine, because I thought the only problem was just hanging out in the dispensing room. So I did that and it was fine for a few months. And then, before I did that, a week before they gave me the transfer, I did approach her. She was talking about Palestine and I disagreed with all what she said. And that's sort of my hobby is politics and stuff. So I went up to her, we got in a big argument and she got really mad and everyone was telling me, you're going to get fired now, dude. She's going to file another complaint. You're going to get fired. And I don't know if that's the third complaint that got me fired, but regardless, I got out of there. Then in January, turning towards the middle or end of January, actually, wait, I should backtrack. Christmas Eve, I texted Anthony to say that because we had left on really bad terms and also maybe a complaint. I told Anthony to say, you know what, it's been a while. I'd like to if I could talk to her somewhere outside of work, we could get closure, settle things down. And he didn't respond. He came up to me. He doesn't usually respond in text. He comes up in person. He came up to me and said, dude, don't do it. 2 complaints already. You're insane. This is going to go really badly for you. And I said, no, man, listen, I haven't approached her for months. I have no intention of approaching her. I just want to talk things out so there's closure that isn't just like us hating each other. And then a minute later, she comes up to me and just says, just something like happy holidays. I said, Merry Christmas. And she goes off. It's like, I don't know what that's about. And then later she came in on her day off, walked over to Delhi, looked at some lunch meat, looked over and stared with a completely blank expression and then walked away. Which was very weird. She didn't buy anything. I didn't know what that was about. And so I was starting to freak out. And at the same time, I was also, actually a little later, starting in early mid-January, I was also behaving erratic towards other people, not just those 4. I was getting in fights with my boss. I was ranting to Angie and Delhi. I was getting in a fight with the ops manager, Jacob. And by the end of the month, I realized from the way people were reacting, Mira was looking really scared. Other people were looking at me like I was pond scum. I was sort of a pariah at the store. I realized I was spiraling out of control. I don't know what was doing that, if it was stress or whatever. But at that point, I asked it to transfer stores and I contacted my psychiatrist about I had been years since I talked to him. I contacted my therapist about getting help. And I went and applied for a medical leave of absence for mental health, which they gave me. And I figured that would be the end of it. And then on 8 days later, on the 7th, I got the restraining order. And then 2 days later, I got notice from my work that I was fired.
What day was that you
Was fired? I think it was.
Yeah.
Sorry?
So you got served on the 2nd, did you say?
7th. 5 days ago?
Yeah. And then these texts, there's someone named is it Rogar, or is that or is that a different spelling of Roger?
It's Roger. It's he spells it differently in Discord because I think to be funny or something. I don't know him well enough to know the backstory.
All right. So there's a. All right. So again, I'm going to reference those texts in there. Frankly, I mean, that gives some insight as to, what you're thinking, and reading those things. I can kind of understand why Ms. Addie's kind of concerned. And so, I'm sorry. First of all, I'm sorry you lost your job. That's a difficult situation. But based on her petition combined with her testimony, your testimony, and the evidence presented, I'm going to sign an order, and that order is going to be in place for a year. And my hope is that kind of makes things easier for you. For there's a bright line now. You said you're seeing someone to help your mental health, which is good, but the line is she's just not a part of your life. She's just not something you should think about. You understand that?
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Yeah. And so the order is going to be effective for 1 year from today. You're not to contact her. You're not to cause her any harm. You're not to contact her. And that's through third parties also. And so if you're sending texts, if you're in a text string, you can still have contact with former coworkers and all that, but she is not to be a part of the conversation. Do you understand that? Because someone receiving that might perceive that as your attempt to contact her through a third person. Do you understand that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So any sort of third party contact is forbidden. You're not to come within 1,000 feet of her residence or her place of employment. You know where she works there now. And so, like I say, that go ahead.
Oh, okay.
You wanted to say something?
Yes. Her place of employment is right, like a few minutes away from my parents' house.
Well, what do you mean a few minutes? I mean,
I could spend. I was going to say, it could take an extra 10 minutes to go a long way around.
Well, as the crow flies, how far is this? Which Walmart is this?
It is the Lacey neighborhood market.
Is that the one out on? Okay. And so,
so if I stay on the arterial, it might be within 1,000 feet.
Where more or less do your parents live?
Wait, yes, Yelm Highway. Sorry. I don't know.
Okay. So if you get to college, you hit Yelm Highway, you can come back towards Olympia or out towards Yelm. Are they out towards Yelm, or are they back towards Olympia off of Yelm Highway?
I think back towards Olympia.
Okay. Well, can't you just go through Olympia, go out Yelm Highway? Then you never even make it to that Walmart.
Which ones? If I go to them, normally I would go down at the T junction, right? There's the T junction. Is that College in Yelm?
No, College is where the Safeway is.
Okay, so if I go down Yelm, I go down Rollins, go down to Yelm, and it passes by Walmart. And I think it's like, I don't know, 300 feet, 500 feet. Can I still go that way as long as I just pass by and don't go into the parking lot or anything? Or do I have to take a different route?
Yeah, if it's down, if I understand you correctly, you can go through Lacey and come out and Ruddle and just come the back way, and then you never go past it.
Okay.
And I'm confident in your ability to navigate that.
Thank you.
So again, don't come within 1,000 feet of her workplace or her residence. Service isn't required because you're appeared, and you can get a copy of this off the Thurston County District Court website. Okay. And then how is it you need an order against Ms. Ward?
For at least 2 years now, Ms. Ward and her daughters have been very rude to me, and it has continued to get worse. And I decided to get the order after my car was damaged, and the kids were throwing rocks and stuff at my windows. And the thing with Ms. Ward is she likes to constantly yell out from outside and yell mean things to me. I mean, she's even called me a hoe and a loser and told me she can beat my ass. All of that's not on video. That's all just stuff that happened. After the incident with the rocks and the kids and the rocks in the windows in my truck, she got more aggressive with the.
Hang on just a second. Ms. Ward, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah, I need you to be on camera so I know you're listening to all this. I'll give you a chance to respond in a minute.
Okay.
Continue on there, Ms. Thorne.
Thank you. So it just continued to get worse. She continued to make louder threats at me. Then after the rock incident, then we had the incident where her daughter and her youngest daughter was putting dog poop on my door. And it just got to a point where it was just too much, even though department management knows. They've even tried to facilitate a sit down to where we can talk, and Ms. Ward wouldn't even come around for that. So it's just been a lot, and now it's getting worse. And then since I got the temporary order, she again got worse. And on February 5th, the police came out and talked to her, and they have filed for a case, and it's been forwarded to the prosecutor, where she was sitting on the porch calling me mean names and being threatening, and then just turned around and waved at me and said, "You crazy white lady." Like, this is ridiculous. It's just aggressively getting worse. And our building is only connected through a sky bridge, a catwalk. So there's no reason for her to be anywhere, her or her kids to be in my side of the door in my building. But I do know that after the officer came out on February 5th and told her to knock it off, I haven't heard anything from them. So that's nice. And that's the kind of, just anti-harassment. Don't talk to me, leave me alone. And so that's why I'm asking for the anti-harassment order, because I feel that they are not capable of that.
All right. Let me hear from Ms. Ward. And Ms. Ward, I will tell you before that, I don't know whether you had a chance to see this or not, but in the file, there's some video and some kids, and I've never met you. I've never met your kids. Some of the video, I think, is there's some yelling coming from what I assume is your apartment, saying some unkind things about Ms. Thorne. Also, one of the kids, through what looked to me, and again, I don't know whether this was your kid or not, but basically threw what I think was a rock. It was something that was hard that made a large sound against Ms. Thorne's window. And then those, and the kids were yelling at her, calling her a bunch of unkind things also. And so I just want to let you know, and I don't know whether you had a chance to see that or not, but I did. And so I'm going to swear you in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. What's your position on her request for the order?
Well, this lady has literally called the police on me ever since I moved in. Even the first day I moved in, she called the police on me because she said I was moving in too loud. I've had police come up to my door several times because she accused me of beating my kids. They came to my door. They actually came to the point where they stopped coming because she's called so much in the past few years. This sit down that she's talking about with management never happened because I didn't get a notice of it at all. Because if I did, I would like to sit down too. She's always sitting at her window. She has chairs at her window, and she just looks outside all day. She yells at kids all day. She video records all day. Only thing I do, I leave my apartment with my boyfriend, and I leave. I ride the bus. So how can I stop this woman when I'm on the bus? She has a vehicle. She sent me. If she was so scared of me, why did she deliver this paper to my door, saying I'm going outside and Tanisha's harassing me? I don't say nothing to this woman. Oh yes, it's okay for me to say, hey, stop video recording my kids. I mean, if my daughter is doing something wrong, all of their friends will come upstairs and they would tell me. Okay, they do that all the time. I didn't know nothing about.
Hang on just a second. Did they tell you they threw a rock at her window?
No one ever told me that. So I don't know.
I'm telling you that because I saw a kid do it.
What do you know what she looked like?
It's hard for me to tell from the video.
Okay, well, I've been talking to my kids and telling them to leave that woman alone. She acts like they harass her all the time. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know they come in the house and say, Mom, she's recording us again. Mom, we're just outside playing. She's recording us again. This piece of paper she sent me said, oh, her daughter's outside playing with other kids and being mean to other kids. Kids are kids. Some kids are mean to my kids My daughter's mean to other kids when they're rude to her. And then she wrote a paper saying that I stopped her and I harassed her when she was walking her dogs. I didn't even know this lady had dogs. I just go about my business. I go through the fence over here and I catch the bus. I don't look out for this woman, but you can't hear her talk out the window and she's on the phone herself. Now, it's not a crime for me to sit on my porch and watch my clothes because several times this woman has vandalized my clothes. And then if I'm stalking her, then how come there's no video footage of me following her or chasing her as she claims? I don't care nothing about this woman. I would like her to stop sitting out the window and video recording me or saying that I'm at her door harassing her. Where's the proof of me harassing her at her door? And when she said the cops came, I was with my boyfriend. We just walked up the stairs and came to the apartment. We sat down in my room, which is in the far back of my apartment, sat down, and all of a sudden, 2 hours later, the cops are knocking at my door saying that I was yelling and screaming at her. And I said no. And my boyfriend even talked to the police as well. And he was like, okay, I'm going to go talk to her. The police never came back because they know she calls the cops on me all the time for nothing, just for living here, just for breathing. She calls the cops. And my chairs, if I'm harassing her, then how come there's no picture of anything, of me doing anything? She sent a picture to me with a flat tire. Okay, you have a flat tire. What does that have to do with me? The cars are to, when I get down off my porch, the cars are to the right. I go out the left every time. I come back through the left, go up my stairs, go up to my apartment. She's called the police on me so many times for no reason that I don't even like to sit on my porch anymore. Until my clothes started getting vandalized. I caught her 2 times coming from the wash machine room, and my clothes would be opened up. The dryers would be opened up, wash machines would be opened up. So I go wash mine across the street. I don't bother this lady. And if my kids are bothering her, I'm going to keep telling them to stop. And her daughter talks to my daughter. She doesn't know that, but her daughter talks to my daughter. And my daughter asks her daughter, why is your mom doing this? Because her daughter just got recently taken out of her home. Her daughter actually told my daughter she's an alcoholic. She likes to bother people and she doesn't like black people. I knew that from the first day I moved in when the cops came just for me moving in. She acted like I had a cookout and 20 people over here. There was 3 people helping me move. That was it. No one's doing nothing to this lady. I don't even care about this lady. I don't even say nothing to this lady. I don't even go to her door or go to her side over there. No one cares for her. I don't care for her. All these claims is all fake. My boyfriend's with me most of the time, and I tried to put in some papers the other day, but I couldn't because I got served late. But I have other witnesses too. I have about 4 declarations for other people.
Okay. When did you get served?
Last week on a Monday.
So, Ms. Thorne, maybe I should have asked this first. You know, I do have the opportunity to give her a chance to respond. She said she was served fairly recently, which I'll probably do, and then we can just reconvene on the 26th and see what happens. Okay. What's your response to one thing that she told me, which kind of caught my attention, was I mean, how many times have you called the police on her?
I have called the maybe 3, 4 times, but the one I did call once when some of the neighbors were worried because her daughter was screaming. So I just called the police just to let them know, hey, check in on her, and they did. But when she is saying that the day she moved in, I called the police, I would encourage her to get a copy of that report or that call, because I know for a fact that that whole weekend I was away because it was my daughter's wedding. So I encourage her to, yes, please get the police report. Let's turn it in.
But she doesn't, ma'am. You don't need to encourage her to do anything.
Oh, okay. I do apologize. So, yeah.
How? And then when did you move in there, Ms. Ward?
About 3 or 4 years ago, and I thought all the police around here know me now because she called so much. There's like 48 police reports.
All right. So here's what we'll do. We'll hang on just a minute, ma'am. We'll reissue temporary order remains in place, and then we'll just see where we're at. And I'll give you a chance to respond, Ms. Ward. We'll see where we're at in 2 weeks. It'll be in front of me, so you won't need to repeat what you've said thus far.
Okay.
Your Honor,
and Ms. Thorne, did you say that things have been good since the temporary order was entered?
No, it's been good since the police officer came out and talked to her And then he did go and talk to her, and then he came over to my apartment. He saw the videos, and after he saw the videos of what she was doing that night, that's when he asked for a case number, I guess, from dispatch, and let me know it was going to be forwarded to the prosecutor that there was grounds to look at a violation of the anti-harassment order. So maybe, do you want the case number for that?
No, I don't. I just wanted to know how things were going. I'm not going to tell people how to run their cases, and we'll also see how things go over the next 2 weeks. We're back on the 26th.
Okay, thank you.
We'll get set for that. Ms. Ward, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I just have a question. Is it a crime for me to sit on my porch?
Well,
I don't.
the answer is no, but if there's a temporary order in place and you're yelling at people, then yeah, that's a problem. But I don't want to respond to that. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not, maybe I've said too much already. I'm really not in the advice giving business here, but anyway, to answer your question, no, it's no, but usually it kind of depends too. Copies of these temporaries will get sent to you. We'll see you all back here on the 26th.
Thank you,
Okay.
Donna.